What's up? What's up? It's your boy Dwell, aka Mr. J. Aquí en la casa, coming at you sideways. I want to make a little video today over my phone once again. Like I mentioned in my previous video, once in a while I'm gonna hook up my phone and do videos on my phone, and other times I'm gonna hook up my setup and do videos like that. But today is the case where I use my phone. Just a little topic that I want to go over. I've been a lot of people that know me and don't know me, but a lot of people that might know me a little bit at least, always can always hear. I'm always a proud man of my heritage, of my cultura, de mi sangre, de la águila. Yo nací aquí in California, but both my parents are Mexican, and I was pretty much heavily influenced by what's around me. Santana is a large percentage of it is Mexicanos. I've always been interested. My dad has always told me, you're Mexicano, and Mexican American. No matter what, you're still Mexicano. Both my mom and my dad always said that. Maybe your parents taught you different or told you something else, but I've always been interested in la historia de la cultura mexicana, en la historia de México y en la historia de los mexicanos aquí en los Estados Unidos. I've always had a lot of pride. I'm not a historian, but in my years that I've investigated stuff here and there, I've learned a lot. Maybe not everything, but I've learned a good amount, a little bit of the Aztecs, a little bit of what we have done in this country in regards to our indigenous roots, and even after the Europeans set foot in here, what we've been a part of. So I've always been proud of that. When it comes to music, I like Mexican music, corridos, románticas, mariachi, cumbias. I'm open to all banda, norteñas, pop, rock and roll en español. I've always been open to music. I've always liked, even though I'm not a guy que se viste con sombreros, I've always been a guy, that's into that, all the bull riding, all the horse riding, all the heritage that the cultura mexicana carries, la gente mexicana, la raza mexicana, what we carry. I've always been super proud of that. But it's also in these past years, even growing up in school, and this is why I want to make this video, because in school they teach us a little bit of Martin Luther King. They teach us a little bit about slavery. They teach us a very little bit about civil rights. I'm talking about public schools. At least in what I seen when I was growing even in public schools. No puse mucha atención, so maybe they do teach you more, but correct me if I'm wrong. Very little. I know it's very little, especially right here in Santana, because there's no really, I guess, they don't even teach you about your culture, but black culture, African American culture, let's just call it black people, because I don't know, I don't want to say anything in regards to not everybody's probably African American, you know what I mean, but let's just call them like what the black people did. No disrespect to nobody, I'm not trying to, just to make it easy. They always teach us a little bit, Growing up, once I started getting of age, I started hearing people talking about Malcolm X. Started seeing shirts about Malcolm X. I started seeing pictures of Malcolm X. People talk, but I never paid attention to it. I knew what the civil rights movement was, but I never paid attention to it. I knew, like I said, very little. I knew pretty much like what a lot of black people went through. I don't know. I mean, I can't say I know, but we were taught. You know what I mean? We were taught. a little bit of what the black people that have been here for many years, throughout the ages, what they went through, because we can't say the black man. Today's a different world. The black man's going through their struggles today in a different way, maybe in the same way still. I can't speak for it, but I know they're still going through struggles that a lot of us don't go through. We do, as Mexican people, we do, but I can't say it because I'm in Santana. You know what I mean? I can't really say I've been racially profiled, a little bit by random people, but by the law, not really. I think I think that goes for a lot of us. If we get in trouble, it's probably something we did, something we deserve. Nothing really specific, like racial. Oh, you dumb Mexican, or you dumb brown man. Maybe people throw stuff out there, like I said, but I doubt we've been, especially now in my age group. My generation. I doubt. I'm speaking as a Mexican. We've really suffered or gone through or experienced to an extreme what that really is. Racial profiling, especially where I'm from in Santana, Orange County. I don't know how it'd be for the people out in LA and in other places in regards to Latinos, Mexican Americans, Latinos, especially right here in Santana, and it's pretty much heavily influenced by Mexican culture. But from my understanding, a decade or two ago, there was a couple neighborhoods that had black communities, and I got to see a little bit of that when I was a kid. On Rate, there used to be what the school is Lauren Grissett now, and I remember as a kid, my grandma used to live in the Rate apartments, Rate and McFadden, in that area. Había una iglesia de negritos, así le decían, me acuerdo decían la iglesia de los negritos, and I would always see people there. From my understanding, there was always black people there, even certain neighborhoods, certain gangs. But from my understanding, it was a good amount. If you still walk around that area, you still see a pocket of black people. And even yet in Santana, where I'm from, the black people, we've always been cool. Like yo nunca personally, and I doubt a lot of people from Santana have problems with black people, Vice versa. I think we have our opinions about each other. I think it's just human nature. But I think we never had like a racial thing like they probably do in LA. I can't speak for LA. I'm just kind of speaking from my experience. But as I've always gained, like, the 3, 4, 5 black people that I've been in communication with, it's like nothing. There's no difference between us. There's no problems between us. We're the same people. But this video, I also wanted to make it porque, like I said, we're always taught a little bit, but not really exactly what the black people have gone through, in generations. And the other day I was thinking, we had civil rights too. I know we had civil rights leaders as a Mexican American group, but we don't really even know. I bet you there's a small pocket of people that know the role in depth of the civil rights movement and how we were involved. I know there's the Brown Berets. I know there were Cesar Chavez, but like I said, they don't teach us really none of that in school. But so it's kind of hard for me to speak on that too. I know we had a small involvement out here in the West Coast. I was talking to a white friend of mine that he's an older guy, late mid-70s, and I brought it up to his attention. Hey, like right now, I was watching the show Godfather Harlem, and that Godfather Harlem is pretty much based on the 60s and the civil rights, the gang stuff, the black, and it shows you how what the black people were fighting for in those times. Because prior from there, obviously the the civil rights changed a lot. They did a lot. The I've learned to respect what the black man has done for all of us minorities. If you're Asian, if you're Mexican, Puerto Rican, um, any Latino ethnicity, any Asian ethnicity, any black ethnicity, even any Middle Eastern ethnicity, you know, we're kind of lucky because they put the biggest fight for us, you know, and I give them my respect for that. Mis respetos. I appreciate that because we're living good. As of right now, like I said, my generation, I haven't had to experience anything. I know from little bit that I've seen and read. Yeah, it was the same for Mexican Americans. No Mexican Americans allowed in this restaurant. No Mexican Americans allowed here. You know, but the black guys, I think the black community, the black people. When I say guys, I mean girls and guys. You know, people in general. It's just my language. They had it hard, man. They had it the hardest. They suffered the most, and sometimes we don't see that. We don't see that because the leaders. I'm talking about the people that really fought for it, fought for all of us. We didn't. They had very strong leaders. Not just Malcolm X, not just Martin Luther King. You know, they've right now we're getting a little piece what we see on TV of what was going on 3-4 decades and beyond that ago. You know, they're the ones that suffered the most, and because of their civil rights, what they pushed, they were pushing for obviously for the black community, but they were also pushing for everybody under them, because they were the ones doing the labor. And I've come to appreciate that because of them, all of us are cool and we're living cool. Once in a while, we get arrested, we get beat up, we get racial profiled. A little bit of things are starting to come out to light again. But personally, me speaking, I walk the streets with no fear. I walk the streets without being harassed, to be honest, by law. You know, if I don't pay a debt, yes, the law's gonna come. The mafia's gonna come. The law is gonna come for you. If you do something that you're not supposed to, you're breaking the law. They're gonna come for you. They're gonna come for me. But otherwise, in regards to not doing none of that, following the law, nobody. I drink my beers. I drive down the street, loud music. You know. Now you could even smoke weed. You know. So, and I think all that we have to appreciate what a lot of the black people fought for, what a lot of black people experienced, and what they did, what they had to go through to achieve what we have today. Yeah, it's not a perfect system. It really isn't. The white man, you could say, is still on top, but the white man, at least in California, I could say, it's not really stomping on us to an extreme, you know. Like I said, if a lot of it is we do the crime, we do the time, you know. If I beat up somebody and their friends come beat me up, whose fault was it? You know, mine. But I just pretty much this video, I'm not trying to make it a long video, but I've learned, and I think we should all, especially Mexican Americans, you know, try to get along, try to respect at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we even listen to their music, you know, rap, funk, you know. A lot of us Mexicans like funk. A lot of Mexicans like oldies. Who sings them? You know. A lot of the movies we watch, a lot of the series that we watch were of black people, you know. A lot of the sitcoms, there you go, series, back in the day. I used to watch Wayne's Brothers, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters. What else did I watch growing up? Martin, and a little bit of other ones. But I think as a community, I've gained a little respect I've gained major respect. I can't say a little for the black community because, like I said, if it weren't for them, if it weren't for the fight that they fought, we wouldn't be where we're at today. Some of us might be struggling. Some of us might be, yeah, oppressed. Some of us might be racial profiled, but it's nothing to compare. Nothing compared to what was happening back then, in my opinion. As a whole, they were getting lynched. People were getting lynched. You know, literally in public and whatnot. And I recommend those movies. I haven't read, just by watching the movie of Malcolm X by Denzel Washington, watching The Godfather Harlem. It just showed me like what these guys were fighting for, what they were going through, and they didn't give up. And that's just me talking about two guys. The civil rights movement was a lot of people, and it was at the end a lot of white people helped too, from my understanding. But I just want to make this video to show that we should learn to work with our black brothers more, unite with them more, and everybody in general, Asians, whites, and browns especially. We need to learn to work with them, because at the end of the day, we racial profile ourselves. Mexicans racial profile Asians, any other Latino group, the blacks, whites. You know, blacks racial profile blacks, whites, Mexicans. I'm not saying everybody, but I think that's where we're at in this world. Asians racial profile blacks, Mexicans, whites. You know, whites racial profile blacks, Mexicans, whites, and whatever other ethnic groups are around. I think it's more of a civil problem than a political problem. If we could work together, we could fix the political problem. But we ourselves hold ourselves down. All the powers in our communities, street powers, political powers, we need to learn to work together. At the end, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all Americans. We're all in this country, whether legally or illegally. At one point, everybody came here illegally. And I think if we don't do none of this, you know, the people that actually fought for us and are fighting for us now are doing this in vain. And I hope not. You know, that's just a quick video I wanted to make. Hopefully everybody has a good one. Let's stick together. Raza, let's stick together and let's keep moving on. Peace.